It's always difficult to have researchers on your paddocks, but they've taken our staff quite enthusiastically, they've participated strongly and tested things that they probably wouldn't have done. To actually see some of the legumes coming into the system and under hard conditions actually establishing and persisting actually has been quite exciting.
What we were doing was basically not in the improved pasture but in the cropping. Land I was using for fodder feed, and all I was ever growing there was oats on a rotational basis with Dolichos Lab Lab, and every time I used Dolichos Lab Lab I inoculated it, and through the results today we found a marked increase in the carbon in the soil. So my main concern was to see generally the sandy soils in Chinchilla lack carbon, and so we've been really successful in what we're doing. We have one more soil test to go, and so that really is what my aim was, is to increase the carbon content of the soil. Really, I'm seeing the response of the input of the people who are running these different programs, the help that they're giving me. It's giving us positive results.
The Leichhardt crossing was very interesting and encouraging. We had a dramatic increase in one of the fundamentals there, which is organic carbon in the soil, and as a result of that increase we had a flow-on effect, obviously. So we increased the organic carbon by some 40% in the soil profile, which itself is very encouraging. But the flow-on effects as a result of that was, we increased the amount of cation exchange capacity, the active carbon, etc. also increased. So, from changing one thing there through forages, forage cropping, etc., we were able to affect many other positive soil health indicators. The results so far have been greater than what I would have expected, given that some of the sites, especially, most of them in fact, are dryland sites. So, the sites haven't had the benefit of irrigation. The improvements that we've had, as I say, have been very encouraging to come from such a low base, which might be the reason why we have had such a big increment to start with. We are working on soils that have been run down for some period of time, so what we are doing is obviously a big injection to them.
The level of organic matter in the soil is a very, very good indication of soil fertility, as well as all the other nutrients, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, potassium and so forth. But in particular, organic matter is a key element of soil fertility, as is plays. But if what we're trying to do in building soil carbon is actually to increase the soil fertility, and that of course then has a major impact on pasture productivity and livestock gains and economic returns.
The process we used was pretty much diagnostic soil testing based on areas that we had already outlined from the EM survey work that were affected in some way. So this was a preliminary work that we did, and then we based the areas that we soil tested on that work. So I then went into ground truth, what we discussed or discovered from the EM survey work.
If people want to commit themselves to improving rundown pasture or cultivation, it's absolutely possible to do it without a shadow of doubt, and that's once you start to see those benefits and results, that then spurs you along to keep going.